Give me a second.
Hi there! Have you ever launched a drone from your boat? Would you like to know how to safely launch a drone from the bow of a boat? Well, stay tuned and I'll show you in this video. My name is Brad and I like to help make your drone videos a whole lot better, and if that sounds like something that interests you, go ahead and click that subscribe button because I try to do a video every single week. Let's get to it! A lot of us have launched a drone from a boat, but what about when there's some more people on it and the boat's a little bit smaller? Recently I was on a crew for recording a sailboat race. We had a small 26-foot boat and we had a video crew on it also. It wasn't too many people, but it was just a little bit crowded. And unfortunately, because I was too busy launching and landing the drone and the rest of the crew was busy doing their job, I don't have any footage of the actual act of me doing this. However, I did create some animations to help show you the process on what we did do. I hope you enjoy the animations. And here are some lessons that I learned from this process. First of all, the captain, the pilot, and the handler all have got to communicate. That is key because without that, this whole thing can fall apart and it doesn't become very safe. The whole point of this is to be as safe as possible given the circumstances. And remember this, no matter how good the captain is or how hard the captain tries, the boat is probably drifting when you take off. So you're going to notice some drift of the drone. However, it's not actually the drone that's drifting, it's you. First thing the captain has to do is he has to make sure we have a safe launching and landing area. And he does that making sure that there's no other crafts in the area. And then he positions the boat so that the wind is coming from the back of the boat to the front of the boat, basically blowing the drone away from the front of the boat. That is very, very key in this whole thing. It also helps with the safety factor. Once the boat is in position, he then lets the drone crew know that things are ready to launch. Now we also have to make sure that all of the rest of the crew that's on this boat are in the aft of the boat and away from the drone. The only people near the drone are the drone pilot and the drone handler. That's it. Everybody else, back of the boat. Once the captain has said the boat is ready, the drone pilot acknowledges this and has the drone handler get into position at the bow of the boat. The drone handler needs to hold the drone with two hands like this above his head. He needs to make sure that he is wedged into the bow of the boat in a manner that he won't trip or fall as the boat rides the waves. Once the drone handler is ready, he then tells the pilot he's ready. The pilot then moves both sticks up so that the drone will go up and away from the boat. At this time, the handler cannot hear very well, so he can only hear if the pilot yells and not what he says. If something goes wrong, the best thing for the pilot to do is to simply shut down the motors without saying anything, since the drone handler cannot really tell what the pilot says. If all looks good, the pilot tells the handler to let go of the drone by shouting at the handler. Remember, the handler can't hear anything, really. And then the handler lets go of the drone, and the drone will drift off a little bit one way or the other, or maybe just straight out. As long as it goes away from the boat, you're good. Once the drone is launched, it's best for the handler to sit down at the bow of the boat as soon as he can, or just secure himself so that the boat can be moved around if the captain needs to do that. And he then becomes the VO for the flight. And we may have one or two other VOs for this flight, just to make sure that we never lose visual contact with the drone. Now when we first launched, we went to go and catch the drone at the back of the boat, at the aft. And it was really weird because what happened is I was ready to catch it, and the drone just would not come to me. It's like, come to daddy, and it would not come to me. And the pilot, he was showing me, he's pulling the stick all the way back. It was like the object avoidance was on, but the object avoidance wasn't on. We simply could not land in the back of the boat. It wouldn't let us. The drone said, no way, Jose. So what we had to do is we had to go back to the bow of the boat. And what we did is exactly the opposite of what we just showed you. We basically, we did still position the boat in the wind the exact same way so that the wind is coming from the back to the front. Once the boat captain said we were in position, we then positioned the drone to be facing backwards towards us so that we could see the battery of the drone. And then the pilot would slowly bring it back down to me, very, very slowly. And then once it got to me, I would hand catch it, both hands, very important, and you must hold on to that drone until those motors stop. The drone pilot has to hold that left stick down until the motors stop, and you have to hold that drone up until the motors stop. Sometimes the motors won't stop right away. Sometimes it will take 30 seconds, 40 seconds. Sometimes it seems like it took forever for those motors to stop because the drone doesn't realize it's landed. It doesn't realize it's secure. It doesn't think it's on the ground. Well, it knows it's not on the ground, but it doesn't know what to do, and it's trying to fight. It's fighting you, but you need to hold that drone above your head and solid until those motors stop. Once the motors stop, you can sit down and relax, and now you know it's time to go. The boat captain can take over at this point. Now, this is the safest way we could come up with to be able to hand launch and hand catch on this particular boat because it was a little smaller than what we were used to and because there were other people on it. So this was the best system that we came up with. If there's something else that you can think of to make this even safer, please leave a comment below. Let us know what you think. And just a couple notes. First of all, it's important that you be comfortable hand catching and hand launching a drone. I highly suggest you practice a lot on land first. Then you become comfortable with it so that you know how and what to expect when you do this, both as a pilot and as the handler. And you want to make sure you both have this experience so that you have a certain comfort level with doing it so that you're not so nervous and screw up when you're actually on the boat. And you definitely need to understand the fact that when the drone handler is holding the drone and those motors are on, he cannot really hear what the pilot says. He can't hear go, no, launch, abort. He hears That's all he hears. So it's best to not say anything if you have to abort. Because if you have to abort and you say abort, he lets go, drone's in the water. One thing I think that really helped us both with this whole procedure is we would start the procedure of landing, getting the boat in the right position and all that, right around when the battery was at 40%. That way we had a little bit of extra breathing room to actually land the drone in case something happened, in case another craft was coming at us and we had to move, whatever the problem could be. And if you waited till 30% or even further, it could be a much more stressful situation. It means a little less flight time, but in the long run, it's much more worth it than not having a drone. And I definitely do not recommend this if you are a new drone pilot. This is not something you want to just go out and do because you will have some problems and you could possibly lose your drone. You could possibly hurt somebody, yourself, or a pilot, or anybody. You don't want to just do this first thing. Make sure you have a little practice and some comfort level with both piloting and catching a drone. I think I've said that enough. I've said it about 10 times. Although I did try to cover everything, I am not perfect and you guys know it. So if I missed something, go ahead and leave a comment in the comments below. If you like this video, click that like button. If you know of somebody who's going to launch or catch or whatever a drone from a boat, make sure you share this video so people can understand a safe way to do it. And again, if you know a safer way, please let us know. And if you like this kind of content, click the subscribe button so you can be notified every time we have something going up. And of course, click that little notification bell. And of course, you can always check out the other videos I have, other tips, other tricks, and I do a live stream every single week, so you might want to check those out too. And until next time, I want everybody to fly safe, and bye!